Hi everyone, so welcome to Headstands Part 1. I've had a lot of requests on how to do headstands for beginners, so that is what this class is focusing on. If you are a headstand pro, this is great because it'll kind of take you back a little bit, give you some tips and tricks that maybe you're not familiar with, and then you can move on to the next step. But for those of you who are beginners, this is an awesome first step for you. Making sure you have a yoga mat with you. If you're doing this on a carpet, that's fine. I actually prefer a nice hard floor because it does give you that added stability. And it is going to be a lot on the crown of your head, but I don't want us to be stacking blanket after blanket after blanket under your head because it's actually going to take away some of that stability. You need to get used to the pressure on your head here. So that's another reason why I don't recommend using something like an ab mat when you're doing just a headstand. Handstand push-ups, things like that, fantastic. Ab mats are amazing, but when you're trying to do a headstand, a yoga mat is the way to go. But again, you can slowly work your way up to that. Try doubling up your mat if that's what you need. I brought mine close to the wall. The wall is going to be for one of our final steps, but it's not something that we're going to be needing right at the beginning. And I'm going to show you the difference between using a wall correctly and between using it incorrectly. So if you have that wall space, you can place your mat along there, and feel free to pause the video between the different steps that I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be showing you pretty quickly, one right after the other, so make sure you give yourself that extra time to go ahead and do the practice piece. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Now you notice I talked a lot about the crown of the head. A lot of people, when they do their first headstand, they end up right here, top of your forehead. That's not the correct positioning we want, it's not safe, and it's not going to feel really good at all. So, first things first, if you have hair, go ahead and tie it back. The last thing you want is your hair flying everywhere. If it makes you feel more comfortable, you can go ahead and tuck in your shirt as well. So, I'm going to start by placing my head down. My hands are going to be in front of my head. So notice, head here, hands a few inches in front, and I'm going to be squeezing my elbows in together. You're going to be tempted to bring your hands out to here while we're going through the progression. I really want you to focus on bringing them as close together as possible. So think tricep push-up. So with my head in position, my hands in front of my head, I'm going to just gently start by lifting up my hips. I'm still not in the correct position. What I need to do from here is start to walk my feet up until I feel like I'm on the crown of my head, and then I'm going to pause here. This is incredibly uncomfortable, but it's going to give you an idea of the correct positioning that you need to be in. If you don't want to start with that step for very long, I mean, don't hold it for very long, but I do want you to get up there and maybe even take a video of yourself so you can make sure that you're on the top of your head. Now, if your shoulders are rounding, which you might notice mine are doing right now, it's okay because that's something that actually levels itself out as we go through the next steps. Let me show you. So the next step, after we've got our head, hands, lift up, walk, 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 is you're going to try to balance your knees on the backs of your arms. This, for most of us, is going to be the hardest part of coming into a headstand. If you notice, my upper back is still a little bit rounded, and that's okay, because when I start to bring my feet up, it will balance itself out, and you'll see in a moment what that looks like. So if this is too much, you're going to start by gently trying to balance one foot and maybe just doing gentle taps here. But holding and being able to balance your knees on your forearms, that's going to really test your core stability, and that's going to be essentially the key to getting you a really nice stable headstand. So if that's not something that you can do yet, that's something that I want you practicing. Maybe it's every day for a couple of minutes, whatever it is, that's the key step. Because what I find a lot of people do is they go straight up to a wall, they kick their legs up, and they're going, yep, I'm doing a headstand. Not quite. There's a little bit of a difference. So making sure you're taking those proper steps, it's going to help you build that core stability, which is also going to be really helpful for other things like arm balances and handstands as well. So after you've spent some time practicing balancing, this is where our legs are going to start to come up. So, starting the way that I did before, balancing one foot, then the other. From here, I'm gently going to squeeze my core, bring my knees in towards one another, and lift my legs up. Now, the wall is here, so I can gently touch it with one foot, then the other, just so I feel safe. Then you can start to let go. One foot, then the other. Squeezing those elbows in together. I'm going to show you what I don't want to see. I don't want to see this. This is not a proper headstand. That is unsafe. You want to make sure that the only thing that's touching the wall, if anything, is one foot or perhaps the other. The wall is just there as a crutch. It's not meant for you to be able to push all of your weight on it. So now you have a couple of steps for you to go ahead and start. And then when you're ready, maybe pulling that mat away from the wall and challenging yourself to go from there. If you find yourself falling out of a headstand and you're doing it in the middle of the floor, tuck, roll, just like a somersault. If you're still not quite there, I definitely recommend just hanging out at the wall, just in terms of just feeling that comfort and just feeling safe there. Now, if you don't have a yoga mat at home, and this is something that I meant to mention before, if you are local to the Guelph area, please reach out. I would be more than happy to help you drop one off for porch pickup for you. And if you are working really hard and you're doing these videos and you're achieving these headstands and handstands, which I'll be posting later, I'd love to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram at Carrie Calise Yoga. Feel free to send me your pictures, your videos of all your progress. And I look forward to seeing you guys for Headstands Part 2. Thanks everyone. Bye now.